All right, at 4:02.5, we'll call the meeting to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Director Brown.
She's not here.
Director Kiefer.
I am here.
Director Keating.
Here.
Director Shepherd.
Here.
And Director Terenzi.
All right. We will begin with the land acknowledgement. Jackson County Library Services acknowledges that its libraries are located within the traditional lands of the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians and the Modoc Nation, as well as the Shasta, Takelma, and Lagawa people, whose descendants are now identified as members of the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians and the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. We take this moment to recognize the indigenous peoples whose traditional lands are where residents of Jackson County live today. JCLS is committed to fostering understanding, deep respect, and honor for indigenous people, and we encourage you to learn more about the land you reside on. For more information, go to jcls.org/land. All right. We don't have any proclamations or introductions. We do not. All right, then, are there any amendments or changes to the agenda? All right.
A question on the agenda, actually.
Yes, sir.
Are we, as far as the motions go, when they mention the motions, do we usually put in who voted which way?
We don't.
Or something?
I think it's the number of yeas and nays, but I don't really know.
I believe when we had the training from legal, she advised that having that roll call or that summary is in line with our policy.
Mm-hmm. My understanding is we record when it's unanimous, and when there is a dissenting vote, that's noted for transparency purposes.
Okay, so in this page 2 of 3, it just says the motion was approved. Doesn't really say unanimously or not, so I was wondering if we should change that. You guys with me on that? Or where that?
I think it just means it was unanimous.
So if you'd like to take the December 18th minutes off the consent agenda, we can discuss that.
Okay, so moved.
All right, we will move that down to unfinished business, or would we like it to be new business? That's right.
We can move down there.
We'll put it in there somewhere. All right. That it? Okay. Then we could move the rest of the consent agenda if someone would like to move approval.
This is Marta, and I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
And a second.
Second, necessary.
So the motion to approve the consent agenda without the December 18th minutes has been made and seconded.
There's a thumbs up from Marisa.
All in favor, all right?
Aye.
I believe we have unanimous approval. So the consent agenda is approved. We will move on to oral requests and communications from the audience. I saw one sign up on there, I thought.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Pike. Would you like to speak? Come up to the table.
Oh, I just saw the sign-in sheet.
Oh, all right.
Decided-
Okay, so you don't, all right. Then I guess we have no one waiting to speak with us.
But thank you for being here.
But thank you for your interest in attending. So we will start with reports. Carrie May.
Yes, so I would like to invite Hilda Vath and Joan Behill to come forward and provide for you a year in review. This is not cabaret theater style. It's probably not gonna be quite that entertaining, but we try to do this at the end of every year for our staff during our December, what we call our all hands meeting, which is an opportunity for staff to get together you know, and do some training. And in this case, we have put together a little slideshow of things that are both public facing and staff facing accomplishments over the past year. So, take it away. Did I make that too much? Don't worry, no singing and dancing required.
Oh, I don't know.
So as Carrie said, this is something that we prepared for staff at an all-hands meeting that we shared with everybody to celebrate all the things.
And this picture is taken from Eco Point where the kids were having, they were just trying to see how high they could get those Legos. They got them pretty high. But Mason tells me that they've surpassed that in the future.
That's Legos.
Yeah. I will share the screen right now to everybody on Zoom.
Okay, so we begin with January.
And in January, we saw the computer lab move to the collaborative area in Medford. So it was taken out of the classroom. And we had a snowman contest winner, Lee Madsen, and he had a pizza party with the family.
We also celebrated the launch of the Shady Cove Book Locker, which happened just in the end of 2023. So we waited until 2024 to do the ribbon cutting ceremony. And then the book display standards were shelved. Book display standards were shared with all staff.
February started off with an author visit from Julia Alvarez. She did a virtual author talk about her books. And we also had the Random Acts of Kindness Week, where staff were able to put stickies and just share out some random cool kindness.
Hello, David.
And 2024 was a leap year, so February we had the 29th, and we had a new character that was developed by our marketing team, and a pin, which is up at the top there, that was available for staff. We had a book display challenge based on, now that we have those standards, we had a challenge to support the BHAG to increase our physical circulation. And we had our facilities master plan strategic visioning workshop that I think some of you attended.
What's the lot collection?
LOT is
Oh, library
for
things.
library things. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And that just,
Been a long day.
we moved where they were stored, so where there's a, and that was a heavy lift.
Good job.
Yeah.
Maybe with it.
In March, we saw Full Steam Ahead, the event theme for the spring. There's some cool display from the Ashland Library. And another cool program that came out of that was the Box Detect, which is based on a book. And so kids got to create cool things from cardboard boxes and make this little kid had a cute little design there. Dolly Parton Imagination Bookworm fundraiser raised $100,000, which is really amazing. And then we also saw Pi Day, March 14th, my favorite day of the year. Lots of libraries had cool pie themed events.
And then to go along to the collection development team, alongside the display guidelines, the collections shelving standards were developed and shared out. So these are some examples of some beautiful face out shelves.
Cool. So April saw the cool outreach thing at Metal Fest, where it was really awesome. And then we have Applegate won the Peeps diorama for their Moulin Rouge. It was very cute. Good show. And the winners also had a brunch with us. Oh, the Shakespeare celebration for Shakespeare's birthday at Ashland. They had a whole day of amazing events and a cool design of a library card. Ashland Library.
And the Dart Van got a new method of providing Wi-Fi for patrons. So we now offer the Starlink, because there were some issues with connectivity around parts of the county. We started experimenting with Starlink to see if that would provide a better, more reliable service.
And is it reliable?
More so, yes. But gotta watch out for some trees, I think, depending on where you're pointing the thing, but it's better.
People continued. There's a Charo display, which was really very well attended event that had roping, it had dancing, it had music, it had so much vibrant entertainment. And we also saw the Taylor Swift listening party, which was held at several branches. We had crafts and music and fun.
And limited edition stickers
Yes.
that were available only through the libraries that were partnered together.
We started our subscription with Savannah, Orange Boy, Savannah, which is the new system that we had. That's when we first got it to send out new newsletters, and it replaced the old newsletter service that we were using in marketing. It also has a variety of other products, including the incident report software that we use. And then it also has some data elements used by our data and analytics coordinator. And again, so the Taylor Swift Day and the food truck promo, those were two really creative ideas, kind of spurred out of our marketing team to raise awareness and try new things to engage our community.
Yay. We had the volunteer appreciation party, celebrate all of our volunteers for helping us out throughout the year. The May the 4th be with you Star Wars fun at many of our branches. This one was taken at Central Point. Then we also, outreach team, participated in the Comic-Con and doing some outreach there.
The IT workspaces got a little, some new cubicles, kind of a rearrangement, helping make room there. And the stairs in Medford got their safety strips redone, which is important. And then one of the other things that kind of happened behind the scenes is the method for signing up for an online library card changed. So it is now handled through our public catalog service. And so seamless to the public, but a shift in the technology behind it.
June, we had summer readings, and we started that with the Read, Renew, Repeat, showcasing a lot of cool prizes and events. And then we also had National Donut Day at Eagle Point, where they had the donut food truck out and celebrated lots of yummy donuts. So we also got the new computer tables for the PCs out in Medford, which are out there, and they look really good.
Eagle Point got a new HVAC, and so this is the culmination of the fiscal year's worth, the BHAG that we had, the big, hairy, audacious goal to increase our physical circulation, hence all the prior activities around shelving standards and displays. But we had a beautiful dashboard and the running total, so more data.
Continues. There's a few months that had a couple pages. And so we have Smokey the Bear's 80th birthday. It was taken at Prospect, that picture there, but they was celebrated at many branches throughout the summer. Goldust Days at Gold Hill, having a cool table out there. Medford Seed Library, which is up and running, has really cool. You can take home some seeds today. Pride Month. I think those pictures, one of the top ones taken at White City. And the last one, it was the Jackson County Search and Rescue Team that had programs all summer.
And we should just say too, when Joan and I put this together, there's so much more that is happening.
Yeah,
This is
it's
just a sampling of the accomplishments and things happening throughout the system. Okay, new fiscal year.
Yeah. July saw the 10th anniversary celebration of the district. It was a lot of fun, some cool costumes. And each branch and department had created centerpieces that they put out, and that one was from collection needs, collection development. And Canton Fair, we were at the county fair, the outreach team, they're everywhere. There's some cool horses there, or donkeys. And stuff. And stuff from here. And 4th of July celebrations.
And Joan and her team went live with the new incident reporting software in July. Lots of new software. We also, the HR team and finance, we went live with our new Paylocity, our new HRIS system. The technical services team started using a brand new bibliographic utility called BTCat. We launched a whole new procedure and added more hotspots to the circulating collection in July, so lots there. Internally, in a collaboration between technical services and IT, a new supply request site was developed for requesting things, and we've had a homepage refresh that went live in July. And started sending out monthly data dashboards to all staff.
So we're more than halfway through.
That's right.
Got August, there's, so the didgeridoo? Did you do that? Yeah, always a very well-attended program, very popular. Relaunch of Bob, really cool. Central Point's Kid Librarians really feature kids who are their librarians of the week or the month, and you've seen them in the director's report. It's very, very cool to see. And the Friends of the Animal Jacksonville program, they kind of showcased on how to care for dogs if you have a pet, and do that program, which was very cool. Access Food Drive, a lot of those were held placed at the branches, and a lot of food was donated.
And Teaching Books is one of our electronic resources, and when we first acquired it, it was actually used primarily by the education services team in their work, and also maybe some youth services folks were using it, so it was used internally, but upon its renewal in August, we decided to make it available to everybody, so it's now available to the public. It was basically, yeah. It's now available on our website, so you can visit Teaching Books as well. It's got information about, it's got curriculum type things related to books. The one thing that I know about it is you can look up an author and it'll tell you how to pronounce their name correctly, which is a great tip, but it's got a bunch of resources in there. It was one of our featured databases a few.
Does it teach teachers how to teach books? Is that the?
I think it has various activities and curriculum associated with it. So yes, it's definitely lesson plans and things. And I'm sure the education services team are rolling their eyes at me right now because it does way more. But it was really helpful for educators, but it also has great uses for the homeschool population and any parents, yeah. And librarians too.
Latinx Heritage Month. And those pictures were, the top one was taken at White City, and the bottom one was at Rogue River. So the staff got really creative with some really great displays and decorations for that month. We talked like a pirate day, and that's the team at Applegate. It was very cute. And then we have the Find the Magic of the fall theme for events. And we saw Jonathan Evison come through for the band books week. She was neat.
Shady Folk got new carpet, and it was the beginning of the Medford Large Meeting Room Refresh project, so we had to close it for that time.
I think October is.
Yeah.
So we saw Ashland's Mystery Festival, lots of a great partnership there, and lots of great programs, collaborations. There's the Halloween staff costume contest, so it's a variety of cool costumes. And Ruch's 40th anniversary had a lot of events the whole day. It was great. And then there was Eagle Point's 20th anniversary.
And this month it was Talent's turn for new carpet, so the whole building. And let's see, and so Library of Things and the book club bags. So basically we stopped using the other software, that My Turn software, and instead incorporated those collections into our Aspen Public catalog.
We saw that Ashland was awarded the Community Partner Award by the Ashland Chamber of Commerce. It's Kristen Anderson accepting the award. Saw the Southern Oregon Pride Parade in Oregon. Lots of staff participated. A dart band there, and Stuff Day. So got the cool socks and T-shirts and lots of fun.
Big accomplishment, we submitted the Oregon State Library statistics. That's always a heavy lift. The Medford Large Meeting Room reopened, refreshed. There were printer replacements throughout the district through a leasing program, and we also got new picnic tables. Oh, and the start of the back of the house, which is again, it's an internal series created by the collaboration between the technical services and collection development teams to share short videos that talk about stuff that's relevant for staff about the back of the house.
November saw Baby's First Book, so I think you all got to see that. It was a very, very beautiful book that will be given to newborns in Jackson County. And there's also the Access Senior Shoe Boxes that all these shoe boxes have useful stuff, and they were donated to the Access Senior Group. Very cool thing. And the Cozy Kits collaboration with At-Home Services and Education Services, that Education Services kids were put together these kits, and then they went out to the At-Home Services who get the materials. And the open mic night in Medford, which has been increasingly popular.
Yeah. How often do you do that?
Once a month?
And then the second annual State of the Collection report was released. And as part of the ongoing project that will be completed this fiscal year, the pollinator garden and beehive at the Phoenix branch, we had with Ginny and Carrie and Crystal and everybody got together and had some tours for donors, and that was in November.
Did you have any Thanksgiving programs in November?
We did programs around gratitude in November, but not specific to Thanksgiving itself. In my recollection.
But a local group served Thanksgiving dinner in the big meeting room.
Here on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah.
There were a lot of people. We brought food and served, so there must have been like 200 people.
Is that like an annual thing, or is it?
It's the second
It's a community group.
or
so it's not a-
third, I think, second maybe. But it was a community, it wasn't library just provided a place, but it's a very cool thing for the library. to
Food
do.
already
I mean, it's-
prepared.
So this was done in December, so we haven't had it all up, but things that we're looking forward to. And Ross Gay is coming February 20th to in-person author for Rogue Reads, which is, if you haven't read the book, it's available. Gonna hold on it maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was right around this time that the Ashland Book Locker was getting put live, so it is now. We were looking forward to the reading schedule and nonfiction refresh, which is happening now. And I guess we're done. The pollinator garden, we're looking forward to Windows 11. We've got new courier vehicles. How much do I remember? We're looking forward to having the patron features of the Medford Large Meeting Room completed, consolidating our landscaping. Yeah. There you go.
Any questions or comments for our year in review? Thank you.
Oh, quick,
Yes.
just the large meeting room patron features?
Yeah.
What's that for?
So the project, as we worked on the audiovisual component of it, but there was a piece where the patron facing controls hadn't been fully fleshed out. So that's something that is we're working on now.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank you.
both. Next time we'll have like
soft background music.
Yeah, that'd be
in the
cool.
background, kind of jazzing it up a little bit. Just a couple of things I did want to highlight in addition to that, that are in the director's report. One is, as Joan mentioned, it is Road Reads. We're in month 2 of the 3-month programming for that. And during the month of January, we are doing a series of pop-up events in coffee shops. We're calling it the Cup of Delights. And so one is actually happening right now. So clearly we're not at that one, but they're throughout the district in different communities at different times. And that's just an opportunity to bring delight to our communities through that. We did in December was Milagros's first month as our new Spanish services coordinator person. And she, along with another Spanish speaking staff person, Cece, from our Rogue River branch, attended and participated in the Los Posados event in the community, and a great way for them to be part of that outreach to our Spanish speaking population. And then I've just been reading a lot of different things about cybersecurity, and I just upgraded my iPhone, and so all the passwords and all the whatever, and Heather can tell you horror stories about Apple if you prefer the flip side of that, but the importance of online security. Just wanted to highlight that we have been doing some classes in that arena and in other, in addition to the one-on-one, our digital services team has really developed a pretty good variety of classes that they're also doing both in the libraries and out in our communities. So those are the things that I wanted to highlight from the report. And are there any questions on other information that was presented in there? As always, there's plenty to go on about. So I don't want to bore you with the details. But yes, Kevin.
Yeah, tell me about the art installation, Ash. Interesting. Is it temporary, permanent? What's going on?
So it'd be a permanent art installation, and we are working with a local stained glass artist to commission a stained glass piece. And that will come, we're fine tuning, if you will, because right now it's a pretty big project with and so we want to refine that, and then we would bring a proposal to you all for your consideration. But yes, it would be a permanent art installation, and in the right now we're proposing it in the windows in the stairwell. So, pretty cool.
Well, windows make for good
Yes.
stained glass
Yes.
displays. Anything else on the director's report?
Looks like it was a very activity-filled holiday season. Some very much frequent programming. So good job to the entire library for pulling it off.
Thank you.
Looks like every branch had something. That's impressive.
Yep.
Every time every branch has something, it's impressive, especially around the busy holiday season.
Okay, the JCLS, I don't see Ginny.
Jenny is traveling home today from being here for the
So
last
we will-
week, so she does have a written report. If you have any questions about it, I can either make up answers for you, or we can have Jenny get back to you. I may know the answers actually, but she did include a written report for you all
She did.
on page 19.
It's true. Page 20. Well,
Number
19, starts on 19.
Yeah.
It goes to 20. All right.
And that's a question. Sure. Typically, do we strive to have a once a year joint meeting with the foundation board, or what cadence do you foresee going forward?
We, it's in the MOU as an annual joint work session between the two boards. We do have planned on February 20th, a more social work session or gathering, excuse me, after the author talk with Ross Gay. You all are invited to that event, and more information will be coming. It is the day after our next board meeting, so we'll have another opportunity to talk to you about that as well.
I think we're regularly looking for more ways to get the two boards to interact and know each other and appreciate the work we each do and that kind of thing. All right. So, and then we need Jen Wright to talk about the Historical Society. We have your
Please come to the
report
table.
and you could come and
Okay, well, I'm,
highlight it and
this is,
we'll ask you questions, maybe.
yeah, I love that.
Looks like you've had a busy year too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we've had a lot going on and, we just today, the staff met with, our new executive director.
Oh,
We hired a,
since this,
yeah, just, yeah, since I
Yes,
did
you were
that report.
looking for one.
We've been looking for one, for a few months now since Ron, departed and, we found somebody.
Can we ask who it is?
Well, yeah, his name is Will Brake.
Okay.
They're, gonna send out a press release and all that kind of stuff, so they kind of wanna keep it.
Right, okay. The recording won't go up.
Yeah, yeah. But, we just met with him and, it seems like a really good match. He has a lot of experience in large organizations and he's also a local person that is rooted in the valley here. So we're very, very excited. And the board is very excited that they can hand over the keys to the
In the
kingdom,
reins.
so to speak. Yeah, yeah. So, and in addition to that, we are looking at, finally getting the final designs and plans to start the remodel in the event center. The deadline for the design submission is February 15th, mid-February sometime, and they're gonna start work right after that. They're gonna sign the contract and just solidify it so we can start work. We've been clearing out a lot of things in the back rooms that were greatly affected by the flood. And so we still have a lot of work to do for them to get ready, but they're gonna start with the roof again and then the bathrooms and all that stuff. So there's gonna be hammers and nails, and all kinds of stuff going on, noise in the building for.
You know how long it'll take?
I don't, but I would imagine it'll be at least 6 months to complete the event center and the bathrooms and all the reconstruction they have to do to get the building repaired from the damage that was caused. We finally settled with the lawsuits and stuff, so.
Were you happy with the settlement?
I think they are, nobody's ever happy about having to wait so long to go ahead, but we couldn't proceed until all of that was ready to go, so.
Is most of the area that was damaged going to be part of the event center?
No, the event center is the main hallway where we had an exhibit before. We used to have exhibits there. The main damage is upstairs where there were offices and everything that went through the flood actually followed the HVAC system and kind of just went through everything. And some of the walls have been, torn down because they got wet and we couldn't save them. But the library itself is in the same condition it was when we started and it didn't get damaged. So we're just so grateful for that because we were, I don't know, somebody was looking out for us or something because we had a few pages of different pieces of paper that got wet and that was about it. And we managed to move a lot of the stuff out while the flood was going on. It didn't get damaged, but there's a lot of reorganization going on now that we're moving from where we put things during the flood. Now we have to put them back, and we got some new shelving installed in the back, and we're getting a new printer soon, and we've got 2 new scanners to help with scanning materials. So if anything happens again, we've got it in the cloud instead of, there's a person, Charlie Zimmerman, who has been working for the last couple of months on a grant to copy all the deed records for all the donations and things that we have. And they've been going through that, like I said, about the last 2 months. Hopefully they'll get all that done and it'll be on the cloud instead of paper. So if there's another flood, we're covered. Yeah.
Was there a damage assessment of the actual collection stuff that was damaged? Did you guys ever read?
The actual collection stuff, really, it was just so minimal that, and, you know, the 3D collection is out in White City in storage. So that didn't get affected at all. And the archival stuff, really, it was just so minimal that we didn't, I'm sure there's some kind of paperwork on it. I don't have that with me, but that we had to report, you know, what got damaged and stuff. We even sent some of our papers that got wet off to some place to have them de-wetted. I don't know what they do.
Restore.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with them, but yeah. So, yeah, it was very lucky. Yeah, like I said, we're getting a new director and things are moving really fast. We've been getting so many new volunteers at the library that the library looks busy every day.
That's great.
And they're not in, their presence isn't included in the numbers that I turned in for the year. We keep a separate log of the volunteers. And, yeah, but it always looks busy in there, and people are, we had to add a new workstation for the volunteers because we have so many dedicated volunteers, and they're volunteering more than once a week now. They're there 3 days a week sometimes, and in the past, they were there once every 2 weeks, and they're eating it up. And so for that, I really give a lot of credit to the volunteers who helped out.
That's great.
Yeah,
Sounds like things are
yeah,
going well for the
They are.
Historical Society right now.
right. I think,
And you're due since
yeah,
you got kind of
yeah,
cream.
yeah.
Any questions from our?
Yes, so I'm a proud member of the Historical Society. I
Great.
love your work. I really enjoyed the wreath making event at the Hanley Farm.
Oh, great.
My wreath is still up because I'm bad at organizing. What is your relationship with the Oregon Historical Society like?
We are an affiliate with them, and we do get their emails and their newsletters and all of that stuff. And if we go up to Portland to do research, we get in free and get to look at things. I participated in the Pacific Northwest History Conference that was there, I think it was October, and which they were sponsoring, and I gave one of the talks there. And so they know us and we know them, and every once in a while we'll have a research question that we can't answer through our own archives. So we, of course, ask them to help out, and they do.
What was the topic of your talk?
Well, I wrote a book several years ago about a man named John Beeson, who was from Talent, who was kind of a lone wolf who advocated for the Native Americans during the Indian Wars here in the 1850s. He was not popular, and he was really cast out of Oregon. And so a guy from, I think, South Dakota, who was also giving a talk, wanted me to be on a panel to talk about John Beeson, and that's what I did.
Cool, thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
yeah. The book's called Oregon Outcast. I'm sure you have copies.
Any other questions for Jan?
Well, Jan, thank you, that was,
Okay,
it's always good to hear from you.
thank you very much.
Let's deal with this changes to the minutes now. So your question is about how the motion results of votes on motions are presented.
Right, I guess I had thought that they record who voted how, unless it's unanimous, in which case they say it's unanimous. And that's what I'm used to, but if we've
I think we just.
got a different policy, I don't know. I just thought I'd mention it in this
Yeah.
area, so.
So do we want to change the minutes or just,
I think we should be consistent. I did notice in the fleet policy 3.1 and the security 4.1, we did say the vote was unanimous and the motion passed. So being consistent with that, we'll make sure we do that in the future, or we'll update these and then make sure we're consistent going forward. That makes sense.
Cool. So if it is disputed, we do mention them, that's just the
Yeah, so
question?
if it was,
if there was,
four said yes
there was a no vote?
and then Keating said no,
Not that I ever would, though, just, yeah.
right? Not that you haven't already,
Yeah.
it's fine.
I just like seeing my name, right, all right.
All right. Yep,
So I move to approve the minutes from December 18th meeting, pending the correction to reflect the unanimous vote on the unfinished business part of the
Second.
agenda.
All right. There's a motion to approve the minutes from December 18th as amended with the vote results. It's been also seconded. Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Can you see your thumbs up, Lisa?
Thumbs up for Marissa, so we're unanimous on that one. All right. So the next thing on our agenda is talking about the audit. And we all got a draft copy of the audit
Best part of my day.
on our spot where we.
I was sad to see that.
Take it away.
PowerPoint didn't include all the excitement from the audit from November and December, but that was what my department was working on.
and we do have Aria, or maybe she, yeah, we do
Yes.
have Aria Bettinger and Nicole Truitt, if you all both wanna, come on camera if you're able and join us for this discussion, that would be great. And Marissa, we'll email you the latest. I think you should have the first draft copy that went to you as the finance committee member. Apologies that we didn't get this updated draft to you for, today.
Hi, can you hear me?
Turn yourself up a little.
Can you hear me okay? I can't show myself. It's saying that the host has stopped my video.
Gary's madly working on her phone.
Hold on, we can almost hear you.
Okay.
Talk again.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, thank you.
It says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. Is that something, do I need a permission for that?
Try again.
Okay. Oh, wait, there I was. First, there I am.
There you are.
All right, and Nicole is here as well. I don't know if she's having the same issue. Oh,
There she is too.
well, thank you. Thanks for having us. We are here to present the audit for 2024. I think as everybody knows, I heard you just got a draft. That's great. It has not yet been finalized or issued. Carrie and Heather wanted to share it with you all before taking that step. So my name is Ari Bettinger. I'm an audit partner with KDP, and I'm here with Nicole Truitt, and she is a senior audit manager. And I'm going to try and share my screen if I can. I don't use Zoom a lot, so let me. Does that work? Can you see it?
Not yet.
Oh, here we go.
There it is.
Okay, great. So I'm just gonna go through a little bit of the audit and then also go through our required communication with governance. Feel free to interrupt me at any time. I tend to speak a little too quickly sometimes when I'm doing this. So just stop me or ask me to slow down. So this is all a draft, as you know. When we do your audit, we issue 2 reports. So we're going to go over the reports and call out a couple things which might be a little bit different for this year. Essentially, and I added some highlights to this just to help me, those will not be highlighted in your actual audit itself. So in our opinion, the financial statements here present fairly in all material respects. The respective financial position of the governmental activities in each major fund of the library district as of June 30th, 2024, and the respective changes in financial position for the year then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. This is our overall opinion on your financial statements. This is essentially what's considered an unmodified opinion or a clean opinion, and it's the highest form of assurance we can provide. So we're just start off right there. That's a great place to start. In this audit report, we do have an emphasis of matter paragraph. You don't always see that in a report, but if something is a little bit different this year, or a significant change, we call it out. As discussed in note 1, the district did restate beginning fund balances and beginning net position due to a change in accounting principle related to prepaids and a correction of an error. So, and our opinions are not modified with respect to this error. And I'm going to jump to that. That's on page 14. And there are very few places in accounting standards where entities can make choices of how to account for certain things, and prepaids is one of them. So in governmental accounting, a governmental entity is allowed to either on the modified accrual basis, which is really the basis of accounting you mostly look at as the board. You can either expense prepaids when you pay for them, or you can allocate that expense over the years in which you use that item or service. Historically, the district chose to just expense prepaids when they were paid for. They decided this year that it was more in line with, it just was more in line with what they wanted to do to actually allocate that expense to the period in which that service or item was being used. So when there is a restatement or a change in accounting principle like that, we have to go back to the beginning of the year and change the beginning of the year balances so that it flows through appropriately. So that was just an election, which it was approximately a $300,000 change at your beginning of the year that flowed through to the end. There was also an error of $32,000 from a prior year receivable, which probably should not have been noted as a receivable in the prior year. And so we just fixed that this year. So going forward, that has been cleared out. We also like to call out what our responsibilities are within this report, and that our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are free from material misstatement. And reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it is not absolute assurance and is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. There are other required communications which we include in our communication with government's letter, which I will get to after this. In addition to this audit report on the basic financial statements, we also issue another report that's required by the state of Oregon. And this is where we perform tests of compliance, the district's compliance with certain provisions of laws, regulations, contracts, and grants, as specified in the Oregon Administrative Rules of the Minimum Standards for Audits of Oregon Municipal Corporations. This is on page 27. Second page from the back. In connection with our testing, nothing came to our attention that caused us to believe that the district was not in substantial compliance with those laws and regulations, contracts, and grants, except as described in note 1. I'm going to jump over to note 1. This is on page 15, where the district did exceed its appropriation authority within the personnel costs as noted in the general fund. That this is called your budget to actual statement. It's on page 23, and you can see here that the final budgeted amount for personnel costs in the general fund was $9.7 million. And actual expenditures within that category was approximately $10.3 million. So it's just something to track, especially as you get closer to the end of the year, to make sure you're still staying within your appropriation authority that you determined. I think one of the hazards of these kinds of audit presentations is we tend to call out the things that are sort of significant and maybe like not the most ideal stuff. Overall, everything was good. Like we don't have any real issues. There's a lot of consistency year over year, but those are some things for the board to be aware of that are a little bit different in this year's financials. I will jump to the communication with governance letter unless you have any questions about the audit itself.
No questions. Thank you for
Seems to
taking,
be.
thank you for turning our attention to the couple of things that may seem irregular and for sharing that overall this is a great finding audit.
Yeah, of course. Okay, this is the basic communication with governance letter. So, when we perform an audit, we all have certain responsibilities. We have responsibilities as your auditors. The board has responsibilities as the fiduciary oversight, and management has responsibilities as well. And so this is a separate communication that we provide so that the board can discharge its oversight responsibility and we comply with our professional responsibilities. Some of you may remember.
That page 27, Ariana, I'm sorry.
So we don't.
We don't have it.
I'm sorry, what was that?
We didn't print that one for them.
We don't
Can
have a
you,
copy.
can you make the font size a little bigger?
I can
What
sure
you're sharing.
try. Is that better?
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. So the board will get a copy of this communication as well, and definitely after the audit is issued. So some of you may remember that we also issued what's called a communication with governance planning letter. So we gave that to you before we started the audit, that discussed our planned scope and timing of the audit, along with some, significant risks that we are aware of as we go through our audit procedures. Within this letter, we also like to discuss significant accounting policies, estimates, and disclosures that are included within the financial statement audit itself. For example, here management is responsible for the selection and use of appropriate accounting policies. A summary of the significant accounting policies are described in note 1. And as we already discussed, during the fiscal year, the district changed the accounting policies related to prepaids. And that the effect of that change was noted in the financials. There were no other changes to policies or procedures within the financial statements for this fiscal year. Additionally, inherent in all financial statements are accounting estimates. They're an integral part of the financial statements. The most sensitive estimates affecting your specific financial statements are related to accumulated depreciation and related expense for fixed assets, as well as property taxes receivable based on information from the county. So we evaluate the factors and assumptions underlying those estimates, and we determined that they were reasonable as a whole. We also like to call out the financial statement disclosures that we think are significant for the district. We think the disclosure related to the Holbert Trust, which is the endowment, assets held in trust, is significant. It's unusual, and it's a significant amount as well. So we like to call that out as a significant disclosure. There was a material misstatement related to property taxes that was identified during our audit procedures, which management agreed with and corrected. We are not aware of any uncorrected misstatements, although there could be some that are clearly trivial, which we don't take any, we pass on that. It's not, so if there are any uncorrected misstatements, in our opinion, they are not material. We are issuing a separate communication regarding certain deficiencies in internal control that we identified during this audit, and that is a separate communication letter which you will receive as well. I'm skipping a couple of these things. Another important part of our responsibility is that we all maintain our independence. Auditor independence is a joint responsibility, and the board, the auditors, and management each plays a role in making sure that we as your auditors maintain our independence. Prior to issuing, management will sign a management representation letter. This basically is management taking ownership for the financial statements, for their responsibility for accounting policies, proper internal controls in place, things like that. Overall, we continue to appreciate being your auditors, and we are really happy to answer any questions you might have for us.
Questions for Aria? Good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you. If any questions come up later, feel free to reach out.
Okay, we're going to get from draft to the final by soon, right? I think Carrie just told me that it was coming.
Right,
but-
so since you all did not get this ahead of time, Heather and I thought that if we gave you a week or so to review and look at it and reach out to us with any questions that you might have about what's presented. Heather and I have both done that and discussed with Nicole and Aria the questions we had. And the document you have reflects any of those changes that were as part of that conversation. So we want you all to feel comfortable that what we are submitting and attesting to, what's it called? It's not attesting. What do we certify? What do we do when we submit it with the state? Oh, what's the official word? Anyway, when we turn it in, when we submit it, we want to make sure y'all are cool with that. But I would welcome today a motion to submit with,
Pending any
further questions. Yep.
Would anyone like to make such a motion?
Who are we submitting it to?
Hmm?
Who are we submitting it to?
We're submitting to the Secretary of State.
Submit
There we
this
go.
audit to the secretary.
Pending any additional questions and clarifications to come within the next week, I move to submit the audit as presented in a draft to the Secretary of State.
Second.
All right, so it has been moved and seconded that we submit the draft audit with any additional questions or comments that might be made in the next week to the state. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? No opposed, no opposition. The motion is carried unanimously. If anything further,
I don't, I thought it went really well, so I'm happy to answer anything. I am on vacation next week, so
So get your comments in like right away.
That's okay, I'll try to
As I
carry
said,
back
we've
up.
talked about it, Daniel knows the stuff too,
Yeah.
so we're pretty confident and we know how to get a hold of Aria and Nicole if something, if we're like, oh yeah, you're right, but.
Out of curiosity, because I'm learning, when the audit team refers to management, they're referring to
The district's management.
district management. Okay, gotcha. How many people is that? Is that?
In this case,
In this
it's
case,
usually
so
it's the
the
two
board
of
will
us.
recommend.
but-
All right.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aria and Nicole.
Thank you, Ari and Nicole.
Okey doke. We're doing really well. The next item on the agenda is committee and board member reports. To inform us all, do we have any said reports?
I have a couple questions that I
Okay,
thought now might be a good time to ask.
all right.
Even though I'm not a board member, so I apologize.
Well, that's true. And who? Are you gonna talk about the?
Go for it.
All right, we have an election coming up in May that will, well, we will have 2 seats on the board. And that's, Marta's still deciding whether she's going to run, and we will have an open seat to replace Vicki Brown, who is not going to run for reelection. So Carrie and I have been chatting about the extent to which Carrie's updated the packet for it.
This is also presented to you
It's
today in the board
on your-
report packet.
On your table, it's the packet for potential board members. I've been thinking I would reach out to either several of or all of the people who applied to be on the board when we appointed Marta. If someone else would rather they did it than I, that's fine.
We
Or
just thought having a,
we
and
think
we can-
maybe it would be better
can chat.
not to have
um,
4 of us reaching out. Although, we can encourage people, but. So, any comments or questions or suggestions related to drumming up enthusiasm and interest, and we want to make not make sure of anything, but we would just like to have well-qualified applicants.
I think it's always nice to have, a lot of people may not consider running if they aren't asked, and so having the opportunity to talk with some of the leaders in our community, say, hey, have you ever thought about doing this? And this document I will also email out to all of you all, so you have that to share with folks. I am happy to meet with anyone who is interested, and if we wanted to, if you all, from the board perspective and the district director's perspective, the strength of this board lies in all of us being able to work well together. And so I think that this is a great way where we can encourage someone to come in feeling like they are part of that. So just thought it'd be a nice thing to think about. The open date, the first day that people can submit to their name for the ballot is February 8th, and the last day is March 19th or 20th. So the window is coming up.
It is.
I think it'd be fair if we reached out to everybody who was in the last appointment process, rather
All
than
right,
select them.
we can do that.
I think it's just a matter of making sure who's doing that, so we're not, and again,
Let me know if
it
you need
doesn't,
help.
it doesn't hurt to do it more than once, but at least making sure everybody gets that communication would be great.
I believe I have most of the content. I'm pretty sure I have all the materials from them.
Okay.
So, all right, I guess Carrie also suggested she had Ryan draft a letter to the editor that Vicky would have submitted related to the situation in Josephine County about the Board of Commissioners revoke, or I guess can't, what did they do with the?
Cancel the lease, terminating the lease
They
agreement.
terminated
for
the lease.
grant
I wasn't sure
application.
whether they just. The lease was up though, was it not? No, it wasn't.
They
Okay.
terminated the lease agreement for cause was a 30-day notice. And so at this time, the notice of termination is effective February 6th. And so the question to you all is if the board as a whole would like to make some sort of statement or comment about the situation in Josephine and with the Josephine Community Library. And if so, then I'd be happy, marketing and I would be happy to work with Susan on drafting a letter to the editor or a guest column that would represent the support of the Jackson County Library District for the Josephine Community Library District.
Yeah,
Next.
I think it'd be a good thing to do. I saw that OLA put out a letter of support as well, so I'd be in
Yeah.
favor of that.
So just to give you background, Kevin, because you indicated you didn't know exactly what was happening. The Josephine County Commissioners held a board meeting on January 6th. And at that meeting voted to terminate for cause the lease agreement with Jackson County Josephine Community Library District for the lease agreement on the Grants Pass Library. There is an intergovernmental agreement in place between the county and the library for that specific location. It has been, I believe it was put in place in 2017 or 2018. And the lease agreement is for $1 a year. And so the commissioners citing, according to the newspaper article I read, citing a need for a new roof on the Grants Pass Library and also a new roof on the Josephine County Jail, that they have projects that need money and that $1 a month or $1 a year is not covering the cost of that new roof. And so they are, from, again, all of my information is coming from newspaper articles. So in a follow-up article, what the county commissioners said was $1 is not a reasonable cover of the cost. We'd like to renegotiate the cost. And so that's the conversation that has unfolded. It is, as it stands right now, still with the termination. It would be effective February 6th. What that means.
My next question is, do they think the library is gonna move out?
Well, and so those are the facts as I have been presented in the
I'll do more
newspaper.
research on it, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume that they're asking the library board to get together and pony up more money for the maintenance, in which case they can stay. That's what I'm guessing.
My understanding is that they are asking the library district to increase their rent for the final year of their lease agreement. So right now, the intergovernmental agreement is in place through December 31st, 2025.
I heard a rumor that there wasn't proper notice for that meeting. It was a special meeting of the Board of Commissioners, I think, on the 6th, was it not?
It was a special meeting of the county commissioners on the 6th, and the Josephine Community Library issued a press release the week prior about that. So again, that's information that you can reference for that.
Not our affair anyway, but I mean,
So-
so notice.
Rumor, not rumor, we could point back to what they issued in that press release.
So we put
Guidance.
together a letter, is
Well,
that how I understand
I
it,
have
or are
a
we going to
draft
put
letter from Ryan
Okay.
that I was gonna, well, depending on what guidance I get from the board. Where did I put it? It's here somewhere. Here it is. Anyway, so we can either submit a letter to the editor from the board, and I don't know how I would get, I guess we would.
So we, as a board, we have appointed or you all have selected Vicky as your spokesperson for media relations, and she's out, so.
And she won't be
Susan
back
being-
for a while yet, still.
She's coming back pretty soon, but,
She is close.
but anyway, so I think it's up to you whether you want, what I was talking with Susan about is if you all agree in principle to writing a letter, in support of Josephine Community Library and, ongoing services for that, location. That was what I discussed with Susan briefly.
Well, I would certainly advocate for some kind of response. I think like this, that supports issuing, stating that we support the provision of library services in general, and
Yeah. Clearly, that would be true, but I just don't want to castigate the county without knowing what the heck I'm talking about, so.
So
If we could be mild enough to say, yes, we always support, library services, and we hope that they can do whatever is necessary to, continue the library, that kind of thing.
and that's pretty much what it is, and also, we had our experience in 2007 of library services being shut down.
Right.
Josephine has had a similar experience, and we hope that this decision by the county commissioners does not result in a similar situation. So it's that level of, I think that's Brian, correct me if I'm wrong on that being an accurate summary of the letter,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
Just
think that we
trying to
try
come
to focus on. I think we tried to focus on the importance of libraries in general, while acknowledging the situation in Josephine County, so that it doesn't read like that's the focus. The focus is on, this is why libraries are important and why we're disheartened to see what's happening in Josephine County. And we support our fellow libraries there.
We hope for a quick resolution to the issue,
Yeah.
keep library services going. I just don't want to take a side, necessarily without knowing what they're talking about.
Yeah, in my day job, I'm there quite a bit in Grants Pass. I've been in Grants Pass 4 times in the last 7 days. I do interface with the county. As long as the letter, when it's written and submitted, reflects not the immediate reaction to what came out on January 6th, but as long as it reflects, the situation of the renegotiation that they're at this week. Because my understanding is there has been some additional statement issued by the county, reflecting that, eviction was never the goal. We're talking about the negotiation. As long as the letter is about what both parties believe is happening and not a reaction to the snapshot of the discourse that it was on January 6th.
I think it's something pretty mild as, we just hope that there's a positive resolution to the situation,
Yeah.
and that library services continue. Yeah.
And I'm supportive, yes.
And the benefit, the work on the letter, a lot of it was done by my staff, and both of them are former journalists, and so they are able to write in a way that's, less impassioned than maybe their boss, me, would be. And I can come in there and edit and say, let's move this around, et cetera. So I think it's fairly mellow, given the situation.
would you send me an email that is attached so I could play with it a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing it.
This is-
Thank you.
This is for the Times or the Courier or what?
Our thought is that we can probably get it in the Times as a guest column, I think is for that length. It's about 350 words, which is slightly longer than their letters to the editor, but their guest columns run up to like 750 words.
Okay. And then the library district there, of course, would receive a copy and they may do with it as they wish in the negotiation course.
Yeah, and we can look into giving it to the courier as well, but that also may be something that the library there wants to have more say in.
Wonderful. Fine. Anything from you additional, Marissa? All right. We had,
I just had some timing questions.
okay.
I live by calendaring, right? And some of you all do too.
Yes.
Kevin, we have successfully negotiated a early stop to today's meeting and just want to be conscientious of your time and that if as you move forward with your new commitment, we need to adjust this meeting, just let us know.
Great.
We are working, Yoli and I are working to schedule work sessions. We're looking for a regular time the first week of the month. And we will send out a poll. Our first option that looks pretty good on our end is sticking with the first Wednesday. If we did a 3 to 5 or 3:30 to 5:30 time on Wednesday, the first week of the month, or Thursday being the second best option from, well, mostly from my schedule, but just look for that survey to come out, or if you have immediate feedback for me this evening, just catch me after the meeting to let me know what kind of works best for you. That would be great. Any questions about that? And what our intention is to schedule a regular time and then cancel if we don't have something, but that way it's on your schedule and it's not a last minute change to the schedule.
Not such a heavy lift to add work sessions every week.
Yep.
But we need to talk about this.
Yep. And then I have one thing I forgot to tell you during my director's report, so I'm just gonna mention that this morning, you all should have received a draft test email, maybe it's not a draft, it was actually a finalized email, test email for our new Library Champions email newsletter distribution group. So any feedback you have on that, please email me directly and we can tweak it for sending out our next one, which would go out to more folks, hopefully, starting next month.
Is that it? Any other additions, corrections, comments for the good of the order?
No,
Marissa?
just,
You're not Marissa, you're Marta. It's one of those damn names.
of course.
I was gonna say, we didn't compliment the finance committee for their excellent job that they've been doing, which I think made us really comfortable with the audit. So Heather and Daniel have been recoding everything. And honestly, the budgets are just right on track, so thank you.
I just wanted to share that, I appreciate that Kevin Keating has been able to step in when I haven't been able to attend the RECon board meetings. So we've been balancing it, and this month on the 22nd, I will be there in person. So, sharing it to the board. Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Hearing nothing. At 5:20, we will stand adjourned.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.